Keely Whitney and the Unusual Suspects. We are so blessed as a community. How do I know God's will? I don't. And what I realize is sometimes as a practitioner, as a minister, people ask you questions like that, and you're like, I can give you what I believe. So what I know or what I believe about the divine, call it God, call it spirit, call it energy, call it whatever you want to, is that it is the principle of life. And that's all it is. So if it's the principle of life, it does not know death. So if this is your first time in this type of community, we believe that our souls are infinite and that we've just come here for a given amount of time to play with each other, to have fun, to be scared, to feel all those emotions. But we come from that infinite source, and it is part of who we are. And so God's will is to know life. God's will is to be life, and God's will is to celebrate life. So I loved Karen's reading because she's brilliant, and so I'm sure she picked it because our country is kind of like wonky right now. And the closer we get to Tuesday, the more wonky we get. And the truth is, if God is in each and every one of us, God is in all of that also. And so what we have to remember individually and collectively is, how do we show up? How do we show up? Because that's all that matters. Remember, it said in the reading something about where you're going to put your energy. You know, you're going to go to the negative side, you're going to go to the dark side, you're going to become Darth Vader, or you're going to remain Luke Skywalker. Because it's a choice. And boy, the closer we get to Tuesday, I don't watch the news. I do read headlines to find out if I ever want to click through. So far, not so much. And I do watch CBS Sunday Morning because I like it. It's kind of like a magazine-y type of thing. And yet this morning, they were talking and interviewing people are like, oh, you know, when the election's over, this country's still going to be so separated. And I'm like, why do we feed that? Because remember, we have decided it's entertainment. With reality TV, with our 24-hour news, with our Facebook, this is entertainment. And because we have said this is entertainment, people are making money off of it, so we need to take responsibility for it. It's not their fault. If we quit watching it, they'd quit producing it. So I found this quote that scared me. So I'm going to share it with all of you, and it's by Deepak Chopra, who I think is brilliant, even in the life he's living now. Your body is boundless. It is channeling the energy, creativity, and intelligence of the entire universe. Channeling that, each one of you. At this moment, the universe is listening through your ears, seeing through your eyes, experiencing through your brain. Your purpose for being here is to allow the universe to evolve. Oh boy. That's a lot of responsibility. I put that last little bit out this morning on my Reverend Gayle wake-up call because I was like, whoa, that's a lot of responsibility. If I really start living from that place thinking, okay, this is the universe, this is God, which I believe, however, sometimes I don't behave that way, I'll be really honest. However, when I remember, I'm looking out through God's eyes. And if God knows only love and compassion, then who am I not to know that? Who am I is, well, I'm Gayle and I've got this human stuff that I created when I was 3 years old and carry around with me like Santa carries a little bag of goodies with him. That's what we have to remember. Most of our beliefs They say between the ages of 3 and 5. Go talk to a 3 and 5-year-old and think, wow, that's who I'm letting or what I'm letting drive my bus. What I learned when I was 3 and 5. Some of it might be fabulous. Some of it might be, I think that an adult needs to take the wheel. We're going over a bank. And that adult to me is that God within me. At any time, I can say, you know what? No, you don't get to be in control anymore. I'm going to let my divinity drive now. Because it's there, all we have to say is yes. There is a quote in the Bible, and I will step all over it because I didn't write it down. It is something that God will only work through you at the level that you open up and allow it to. It's said way more eloquently than that. And yet, that is the truth. You have to say yes. Because in the brilliance of this creation, however it happened, in its brilliance it said, oh, and by the way, I'm going to give you free will. So there's God's will because I do believe there's a divine plan. I believe somewhere I came here to be a minister. And I probably could have been a minister at any time in my life. And yet I didn't, because I wasn't listening to that still small voice within me, because I didn't even know it was there. And so we each wake up when we choose. And so it's just, to me, it's an opportunity for each one of us to connect very deeply with each other. That's why I come on Sunday. It's an opportunity to connect deeply. It's why I and the board of trustees and the practitioners, we all went on a retreat and we all said, yes, this is how we see Genesis being in the future. Where we meet in small groups and we not only learn this in classes, because what happens in classes? You spend 10 weeks with somebody, which is fabulous. You make great friends in classes. 10 weeks with somebody, and then you might have a 6 or 7 week break before you get to spend 10 weeks with maybe the same people, maybe not. Sometimes you might spend 6 months before another class is offered because, oh, you've already had that class. And so with Community First, you have an opportunity to meet with 6 to 10 other people once a month to talk about, to break bread, because when I went to Engage Spirituality Conference, they said breaking bread is so important. So it's one of the things I'm going to talk to the Board of Trustees about, is figuring out how after service we can set up food over there and start to socialize after service, because I missed that. I had that in Santa Fe and I missed that. It's important. It's another way that you share deeply, is when you're eating and drinking coffee or whatever y'all drink. I drink coffee. So it's a way with Community First, and then to talk about this philosophy at a very one-on-one human level. What do you mean, God's will? How does that work in my life? How does that work when I'm a nurse and I work in an ER? How do I do that in my life 24/7? And I think that it's going to be brilliant, because each one of you, whether you're a practitioner or whether you're a minister or whether you're brilliant because God's already there. And God knows that. You may not yet. And that is why I love what we teach here, because it's not hierarchical. It's flat. We all know the same thing. I may have taken classes. I may have gotten ordained, and yet you have the same brilliance of the divine as I do. You may express it in a different way. I could never be a nurse, and I know we have nurses out there. Probably now I could be a school teacher, but there was a time in my life I wouldn't have made a very good school teacher either, because I had the patience of a gnat. You need big patience when you're a school teacher. And so we all have brilliance The thing is to bring that brilliance that we feel here on Sundays, to bring that with us everywhere we go. It's not like come in on Sunday, get fed, and go home and go, yeah, that was good. The music was great. She said something that might have stuck in my head, I'm not sure. What if you woke up every day and went, I wonder how I can express God today? Me, just me. I don't have to worry about how you do it. What if each one of you woke up and said, I wonder how I'm going to express God today? So I want you to imagine for a minute, it's Wednesday morning. Your candidate has won. Picture in your mind that person standing at the podium, hand on the Bible, partner next to them, taking the oath of office. You are so happy. The world is right. Now I want you to imagine that that's not your candidate. Different energy, huh? God in form says no. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter which candidate is in office. What matters is, who are you? How are you going to show up? How do we as a community decide enough? I said that last week. How do we decide? And I don't know. And I've started talking to some really brilliant people that happen to be sitting out here that are like, yeah, I would like to do that. I don't know how either. How do we find out? Or yes, I would like to do that, but when I've gotten involved before, people are angry, and I'm like, yeah, but we're not going to be. That's why I didn't want to use the word social activism, because in some people's head it goes right to anger. And it shouldn't be about anger. If we're going to heal this planet, we're going to have to do it from God is love. It doesn't say God is anger. And it doesn't say God is different than me. God is love. I am love. This is who we are. And so how do we be that comfortably? And how do we acknowledge that in other people when they don't agree with us? There is huge conversation that is going to happen regardless of how we wake up on Wednesday. Because here's the truth. Some people are not going to be happy, one way or the other. And do you do that old thing that we used to do in school when we won and the other team lost? Na, 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 na. Mine won, yours didn't. Ha, ha, ha. That's not going to heal anything. And it's just going to make people more angry. We have to find a way. If they can't do it politically, we have to find a way to reach across the aisle, as they say politically. We have to find a way to invite people in here, into this room, on a Sunday, into our small groups, once a month when they start to happen. When we're out in the street, we need to invite them in and know they're welcome here regardless of what they believe. That's oneness. It's nice to sit here with like-minded people. It's really comfortable. It's not going to heal the world. The truth is, we need everybody in here. And we need to make sure they feel as comfortable as we do. Because you may think you know everybody in this room, and you know exactly who they're voting for, and I will tell you right now, you don't. I didn't have that wake-up call here. I had that wake-up call in Santa Fe with a really close, dear friend of mine. I was like, that's interesting. And so how do we be that love? How do we be and express that divinity? How do you connect with somebody that is so different than you? You're thinking like, heck no. That's not going to happen. You start, I believe, by looking in their eyes. Because that's where the light is. Look in their eyes. Don't look at their body language. Don't look at how they're holding themselves. Don't look at what clothes they're wearing. Don't look at their tattoos or their jewelry or whatever it is we tend to go to say, oh, you're really you're out there and I'm not out there that far. Look in their eyes. Because when you really look in their eyes, you know what they're going to do? They're going to look back. Because that's all they want, is they want to be seen. I'll never forget in 1980 when I moved to Portland, Oregon. And there was a young man, in fact, I think he was famous. He just happened to be from Portland. I don't remember his name, but he had a huge mohawk. And it was all rainbow colors. And I had just moved from New York, just so you know where my attitude was. I was a little in people's face. And I climbed out of the car, and I'd never seen anybody with a mohawk like that before. And he looked at me and he goes, "What are you looking at?" And I looked right back at him and I said, "What do you think I'm looking at? You have a rooster mohawk on your head and it's rainbow color. I'm looking at your mohawk. Isn't that why you have it?" But we push people away. There is a huge heartbreak in this country that I found out about personally, where our young people are struggling. It's on the front of Time magazine. It's on every news thing that you get. And it's not just our teenagers anymore. It's our middle school kids. They're struggling. They are struggling so hard and they feel so separate that they think it's okay, I'll just walk off the planet. I'm done. That's our wake-up call, people. And we can blame it on the news. We can blame it on the games they play. We can blame it on Facebook. It doesn't matter. They want to be seen. And we're the people to see them. Each and every one of you knows your God in form. If you don't, see a practitioner after service so they can align you with that truth because they know it. Line up for them. That's why they're here. Did you know that they volunteer every Sunday? Every Sunday. They sit over there and wait for your little souls to show up so they can look you in the eye and tell you how precious you are to this community, to them, to God, to the world. And it's free. You know, the lineup should be out the door to sit with them. You're like, oh, stop now. But it's an opportunity for you to feel what I'm talking about, is to sit with a practitioner. It's an opportunity to sit in front of somebody and have them look you right in the eye and see perfection. That's what they see. They don't see illness. They don't see disease. They don't see your stories. They see perfection. How cool is that? Who doesn't want to be seen as perfect? And so I invite you to do that and to do as Karen read about. I'm going to ask her to either type that up for me and we'll post it on the family page, because it's important for us to remember, which is another basic tenet of this philosophy. Where are you putting your energy? Not just where are you putting your energy right now. Where are you putting your energy when you watch the news? Where are you putting your energy when you're at the grocery store? Where are you putting your energy when you're going to the movie theater? Because the truth is, energy is powerful, because that's that connection, whether you know it or not. You know, you can feel me, I can feel you. It's the energy between us that's connecting us. And so what are you doing with that? And starting next week, we're going to start as a community, so please come back if this is your first time. We're going to be handing out these books called Prosperous Me. And it's accepting the bounty of my birthright. So not about money. It doesn't say accepting the money of my birthright. Every single day, there's going to be a prayer, a practice, a quote, and an affirmation, and a place for you to journal. Now imagine the power of everyone starting this together on December 14th. No, November, thank you. I think we're ending. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I want you to please come back. The books were late. They were supposed to be here today. But I think it's important for us as a community to energetically pray together every single day. And this is an opportunity for us to do that. And then B, Westcott Curl, and any other practitioner that wants to, is going to be in here after service, starting the following Sunday, to sit down to talk to people about, so how's it going? What does this mean? Where's your, I really didn't like that practice, or, oh, I avoided that practice. That's my habit. When I don't like something, then I just stop doing it. So I highly recommend when you get a practice in here, and I promise you will, and you're like, okay, I don't like that one, and you put the book down, do the practice. That's God calling you on the phone saying there's something here to be done. There's something here to be done with each and every one of us, especially this week. Especially this week. Pray on Tuesday. Don't pray that you win. Pray for the highest and best for the people of this country. And I promise you, the divine will handle the rest of it. And if it doesn't look like I think it should look, then what I know is God is calling me to do something more. It's just a different call. So do that, please.